All righty. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kevin Hurley. I will take care of the Hurley Investments market view commentary. We just had a couple people type some things in. Am I sound is good? Sound is good. All right. Good. Audio's there. I'm going to make sure you guys can see me okay. All right. Welcome to the Hurley Investments Market View Commentary for Monday, July 22nd. My name is Kevin Hurley, and I've got a couple things I want to share with you today. A lot of you have asked, what do I do? And again, I'll be honest with you. Part of me is like, what do you mean, what do I do? I manage money in the stock market, right? But what is your daily grind? That's how it was asked to me. And I kind of chuckled because I'm going to be 100% honest with you, which I need you to be able to take with a grain of salt. That I need you to understand it doesn't always mean it's that way, but it's what I'm paying attention to. It's what I'm doing. It's my day. So I am usually up 5:45 a.m. Mountain Standard Time to check futures and news. It's what I do. An up day in the market is a possible day off. A down day, and I am by the phone the whole day. i.e., I'm in an office. Now, on either day, I do my due diligence. I take my daughter at 6:40 a.m. to gymnastics, and I am home at 7:20 every morning. I listen to Sirius Radio and Fox News, CNBC, Bloomberg on our drive. That's just what I do. Well, Kevin, what do you do between 5:45 and 6:40 when you leave? I shower and I'm scouring the news. I am scouring the news to find out if something unexpected has come up. So in all honesty, between 5:45 to 6:40, I am showering and scouring the news to see what's moving our markets from the media standpoint. Not saying I have to agree with it. I'm just seeing what's being said that could be moving our markets. Now, I've done a lot of prep work on Sunday. Every Sunday, without a doubt, I have something I can scratch off, something that I can say, hey, I've got Zions Bank that I wrote in here $1.99 on a $1.10 expectation. So I then am going to write above Zions Bank a minus sign for missing earnings, and it went down. But I'm not going to write this down arrow until after I see where it closes tomorrow. I don't trade Halliburton, but I usually will write, a plus sign, and it went up. Whirlpool, plus sign, good earnings. It got beat to hell, and it's going down something fierce. So that's how I construct or watch my portfolio. What you're not seeing on here is I usually will have new home sales, and I'll bring them out, and I match up or have, why is that red? Change that to black. I will usually have them done for the whole week. I did not do it today because I got caught doing something else. But I will also write the economic information in here. So last time, the prior FHFA housing price and the existing home sales briefing consensus is 5.30 million. So tonight I will do the new home sales, and I'll just draw a line, and I'll say last time it came in at a negative 0.4, and existing home sales expectation is to be 5.3 million. And tomorrow when it comes out and it's 5.5, I will put 5.5 in here. So I've got a running total of what's happening. Visa will have its earnings. It'll probably come in at about $1.44. So I'll write my $1.44 in there. It'll most likely be on about $16 billion of expected revenue. And if it comes in at 16.6, I write it all in here. This is what I have prepped before I do anything. And obviously, how do I do this? There it is. I had Mr. Jeff Schaffner that we spoke for an hour before I did this. I've got commentary. I then have to leave at 7. I've got a Jeff Davis meeting to pick up some money. Trade findings tomorrow. I then have Tage and Emily to hopefully pick up some money. Bybee lunch. I've got $3 million committed there. I've got Darren for $2 million on Wednesday. This is my life. This is what I do. I've got a marketing firm. What did I happen today? Had a little director's SEC audit today. And this is my plan, my business. Wednesday, I'm booked. Wednesday, I've got all of these earnings. I've got Ford, I got FCX, I've got Caterpillar, I've got Bank of America, I've got Facebook. There are 100 companies, S&P 500 companies, reporting this week. And these are the ones that matter for me. And I don't keep track of all the numbers, but I am interested in Sprint, so AT&T will probably beat, but they will go down because their chart's gone up too much. We have T-Mobile somewhere in here. UPS I'll pay attention to, VF Corp, Las Vegas Sands, Boeing, the ones I trade I actually pay attention to. I have the earnings on here. It's just what I do. Discover Financial Services will be one that I will write through real numbers on. And this is the prep that I've done that I have ready for each week. Where's my second page? Probably underneath it. This is the rest of my week, right? Trade findings at 10 o'clock, ECB rate decision, durable goods, GDP on Friday. I thought I had an appointment on Thursday. There it is. At 6 o'clock, I got to cut down the Daniels tree with my boys. Big old elm tree, $1,300 job from 6 till 8:30. Me and my 4 boys will be cutting down someone's tree. This is my week. It's simple. I write it in here. I make sure it's done. I gather the information. I have tons of books that are this information that I spend every single day notating, doing it, watching it, making sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. This is my day. This is my day where I'm going through it one way or another. Now, an up day, I might not spend so much time with the news. Anything that I've seen, you'll see most of these happened on Sunday. As I was going through my news on Sunday, I ran into a ton of stuff that I went through on Disney. Trump's choice yield to China or raise trade tariffs. I also had a client that said, hey, did you see this on Baidu? Which I did. So literally I click on the news, click on it before I go through, and I copy the link. I take everything, I copy all of the good stuff that I want to share with you guys. And literally, I go through this about an hour, hour and a half before we have our marketing. I've already read the pieces in some way, shape, or form. And I cut and paste them on a Monday into our trade findings. Into our market commentary. This one is the Baidu one. I see what I'm going to have here, see some charts. Very interesting article that basically backed up everything I did 2 weeks ago. I don't care who the guy's name is. I don't care about his followers. So I will cut this out and I'll make it prepared so you have just the guts of it. 3 articles on Disney. No one cares about the Getty's images, so I take all that out. But these are what I have read previously that I paid attention to, that I thought, you know what, this is good information that could help you guys in seeing what I'm looking at and why I'm doing it. And I just literally work my way on through. Do the best I can to work my way on through. Well, Rebecca, you're gone. Have to cut her name back in there when I get a chance. And then my last one. So this is how I just, as I'm scouring information about the stocks that I choose, this is my daily basis. This is where, hey, what does so-and-so say about it? You guys don't need the pictures. Anything I think that can be helpful for you on Monday, I put it on in. And I do it throughout the week. So there are some times when I need to go through my mail and I might have something from, last week that I'll bring on in here and off we go. And it's just what I do. I'm trying to find information so that you guys can't ever give me a call and say, hey, did you read this? Did you see that? Are you aware of that? Of course I am. That's my job. My job's not to go off and say, hey, I've got your money and I'm going to now, go golfing every day. That's not the opportunity. That's not what I'm looking to do. So I don't know how's that. 6:30. I am sharing and then see what is powering the news. News sales good markets higher. All righty. So that is my morning. I'm really paying attention to economic reports. If you're not paying attention to these simple things, you're not doing your due diligence to know what's going to move the market for the day. If you haven't paid attention and checked international to see the ECB rate decision on Thursday, you have no business trading or being in the market if you're not going to put the work in to know what's happening this week and why. I usually will have 4 to 6 weeks out in time, as long as I can get here for briefing. They give me 6 weeks out in time, the calendars. So I already know 6 weeks out in time what's happened. And the best thing about this, as I go to my folder, I can go back to last month. So let's see what we have here. Existing home sales. I know that's a monthly one. So I can go back to June 17th, building permits. Where's existing home sales? Existing home sales. New home sales. So I can go to new home sales. I can see on June 25th, new home sales were 6.26 versus an estimated 6.53. We're going to have new home sales on Wednesday. Pending home sales is here. We're looking for existing though. Where's existing home sales? Kind of foolish when I tell you I can go back and look and find it, and I can't look back and go find it. But I've got it all in here. I've got it all in here where I noticed what was up. I paid attention to Micron's earnings on the 25th. FedEx went higher. Lennar went higher. I've got it all right here in a single place that I can pay attention to because I've done my homework to prepare myself to be in the stock market, to know what's moving it, and to know what can affect individual positions that I'm in. This is what I'm doing. This is where I'm spending my time. This is where I want to make sure that I am not just, taking people's business and running away and not ever looking at their accounts. So I'm usually watching CNBC. Then I go to Fox News, then Bloomberg after the post-market close. I'm not really interested in shows. Shows don't mean anything to me. I'm interested in where our stock market is going and reasons why. I'm interested in the news to better understand what's moving our markets and what I need to pay attention to. Kind of surprising that, in all honesty, our VIX went lower today when we have Iran confiscating a British oil tanker in retaliation for them confiscating a huge oil tanker from Iran 2 or 3 weeks ago. Shocking that this isn't moving our markets, where in the past it could move our markets 5% or more. but I'm paying attention. I'm paying attention and seeing that, hey, what used to move our markets are no longer moving our markets, and I'm taking note of it. At the close, well, actually, I should do it this way too. At the close of the European markets, anyone know what time they close? Anyone what time know the European markets close? (10:30 a.m. New York time, correct. I was going to say it's 9:30 Mountain Standard Time. So I pay attention to close European markets at 9:30 and see if we have an influx of volume. 10:30 to 11:30 Mountain Standard Time, the East Coast goes to lunch. And this is usually the lowest point of the day, right there. 1 p.m., watch the last hour and trade the last 30 minutes into the closed. Some people have asked, when do you place your trade? If I am placing a trade, it is 8:30-ish a.m. Mountain Standard Time after the first hour when E-minis have cleared out and we have a true market trend for the day. And that's our movement. That's our market. That's my day. Now, at the close, I write my overall performance. So if we saw today, where is it? This is a crappy looking screen. So as you saw today, I wait 5 to 15 minutes. Net, I was up 42,807 or a 0.6% against the S&P, which is only up 0.28. In general, I'm okay with the way my day ended. But after I go generally through things to see if I am okay in general with how Hurley Investments did, then I go through each account. So I take a quick peek at, for this group, I've got 38 accounts. I've got a guy at Coda Investment with 16 accounts. I've got a total account base for Hurley Investments that are outside of the education group of 71 accounts. And I have two 401k accounts that I go over. So I'm looking at 38 individual accounts, 71, 16, 2. Let's see what that adds up to. So I've got 71 plus 38 plus 16 plus 2. I've got 127 individual accounts that I go through. And for my notes today, 13 out of the 127, so that's roughly 10%, were not close or in line with being at the 0.28% to the 0.60. And out of those 13, I have 4 accounts that I deem a problem account. And all 4 of those accounts were down today. Now, 3 of those 4 accounts, I'm still building a portfolio. So for 3 of those 4 accounts, if I was to be questioned, I'd say, hey, I'm building a portfolio. Please give it a little bit of time. I could have thrown you in a bunch of crap at the start, but I chose not to. That's not my way. I'm going to take the time to, again, build a portfolio. 2 people are students from the Safe Option Strategies group. Jeffrey's pushed them over my way to give them some help. And obviously, both of them are also looking for income at this time. So making sure we get done what needs to be done in a timely fashion. With that said, I've got one that's horribly off. One that's just off by more than 1%. As we took a look at it, it's off by more than 1%, primarily because it's in a whirlpool that had their earnings, that it's their own account, that they're managing a certain portion of it. The short answer, the safest answer, all the stocks that could have gone down today went down for him. So instead of being up 0.6 or the S&P 0.28, or at least being up a tenth or flat today, he's down like 1.13%. And it just came to either, on my side looking and seeing, hey, for some reason I am horribly over leveraged in some way, shape, or form, in which case I need to pay attention to that, and or they're managing some of it themselves, or they are horribly over leveraged, which means I'm going to have an email to send out today. So I go through each account to make sure they are in the acceptable range, and if not, fix the situation. And that's what I do. That's my day. That's where I'm sitting here spending my time. That's why I'm able to get back to most of you in a pretty quick scenario. Now, obviously, as you checked or you saw, it's not like I'm always just sitting in front of the computer. If it was a down day, I would be, but obviously I've got some things that are going on. I had to be in Sandy, had to be in my office for just a quick little paper audit from the SEC. Director was showing up, wanted to make sure my paperwork is in order, cabinets in the locked area, all the signatures are signed and where they need to be for new accounts. Kind of a waste of 2.5 hours, but it gives them something to do. At lunch tomorrow, I've got an 11 o'clock marketing firm meeting, and then at 1, I've got to be at a lunch for Bybee. So I will not see the close tomorrow, but right before 1, I'll be there, and I'll obviously have my phone with me at the end of the day. If worse comes to worse, I'm going to sit there at lunch and say, I need to bring up my computer for the last 15 minutes of the market and make some changes. Same thing on Wednesday. And I just work my time where I'm comfortable. If we had a huge down day, I would be canceling those meetings and saying, hey, down day in the market, I'm going to need to be answering some questions. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Where will the market end this week? I'm going to tell you higher. The reason why I'm going to say higher is because we've had a bit of a pullback where we've go ahead and we've taken care of setting a bit of a base for the next move higher. As you take a quick peek at the indexes, just on that pivot point line, just looking for 100 different earnings, and we've got some pretty big movers coming up this week. Every day I'm checking the 3 major indexes. Not that obviously anyone really follows the Dow anymore, but I still do check them. Down the S&P look a lot alike. Nothing that stands off. Nice bounce today on the NASDAQ. Too bad people, don't compare more to the NASDAQ so I could be more in these volatile tech stocks. I wish they would, but they just don't do it that way. But a pretty nice bounce today on the NASDAQ. Where I think we'll end July? Well, I think we're going to be going higher. So now as I take a peek, I'm going to just slowly raise it to a 3.5% S&P 500 month. A little bit different as we're coming into the end of the month. And that's going to be 100% dependent on earnings this week. We've got Halliburton. We got Whirlpool. For Tuesday, we've got Hog, which is Harley Davidson, Hasbro, Key Corp for a bank, JetBlue. I still pay attention to the airlines. Kimberly Clark, the Lear, but that's not who it is. Chipotle Group, Discover Financial Services, VMI, Valmont, Visa. What was LMT? Lockheed Martin. Kind of funny. You got to know these if you're going to follow them. You don't just put random crap up here. Follow what you know. AT&T, because I'm looking at Sprint. UPS, VF Corp, Las Vegas Sands. Tesla reports tomorrow. That can really screw up after hours. FCX reports tomorrow. Caterpillar reports tomorrow. Boeing reports tomorrow. Ford reports tomorrow. Facebook reports tomorrow. Excuse me, Wednesday. Thursday, 3M, which could move the markets, and they're probably going to be pretty crappy. American Airlines, Bristol Myers, International Paper, Lending Tree, Raytheon. I just follow Raytheon because my father-in-law works there. Valero, Waste Management, Alaska Airlines, Amazon, Bellwether on Thursday. Google, Bellwether on Thursday. So I got Facebook, Amazon, Google, 3 big bellwethers. First Solar, don't even trade them anymore, but I had a one-day trade of $53,000. I'll show that to you sometime. Intel, T-Mobile, Starbucks, and I'll get to that, I guess, next time. We finish off our week here with Clorox, McDonald's, Phillips 66, and Twitter. Economic reports. I just go back, and again, all I'm doing is nothing more than what you guys saw already. So I'm just taking it off of my whatever you call this. We had nothing today. My planner. The heck? Doesn't make any sense. FHFA, Housing Price Index. And then we have existing home sales. Wednesday, always have MBA. And we have new home sales. Thursday, always have initial and continuing claims. We also have durable goods, and we have durable X, transportation. And then Friday, big moving day, GDP and the GDP deflator. International wise, not much is going on this week except for the reports over there in Europe on who's going to take over Melissa May's. But more importantly, on Thursday, ECB has a interest rate decision. It's funny because I would challenge you to ask anyone else out there who is a money manager that's most likely putting you into funds if they will do this kind of due diligence and if they have any idea on what the hell is going on, period, in the stock market. Because most likely they don't know a damn thing. And you're going to be fed the line, oh, don't worry, over the long term, you're going to be okay. Over the long term, you're going to make all kinds of money. And yeah, I have fun with that, but what am I going to try to show you here? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull out, I want a chart. Let's see if it gives me a chart. I'm going to pull my chart out. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the SPX. And I'm going to go to all. I don't have to, but what am I trying to show you? So, two things I'm trying to show you. It's amazing because we're still not there yet. If you invested in 2000 and waited 19 years, for 19 years, you have still not doubled your portfolio. How often are you supposed to double your portfolio if you follow the stock market? Bingo, I love it. 7.72 years, basically, on an average rate of, 9-point-something% growth. Perfect. But the reality is, it's been, if you start investing your money and let it go or rolled it over or whatever, if you did it in 2000, you did it in 2008, you basically 2000, you have still not doubled your portfolio. What else gets taken out during that 20-year period? There we go, fees. And if you're in mutual funds, give me the low end. What about the mutual funds? What's the low end fees for a mutual fund? And it can be a range, 5 to 7. So that's more on the high end. Give me a low end mutual fund range. 2% in your dreams. Because all the mutual funds have their EIN numbers and pay their taxes. Really, about the lowest I can find is about 3.95 to a 4.25. Some people that have had their money sitting since 2000 are literally down from 2000 when they've almost had a quote unquote, let it sit, don't worry, over time you're going to be okay. I can't make the chart any more relevant than this. If for 19, almost 20 years, you have 4%, you're literally down and sitting at a range where for 20 years, you're down about 14%. Kind of gotten hosed, you've kind of gotten screwed. But this is the mentality. All they got to do is capture your funds, let it sit, off it goes. So again, I challenge you. See if your money manager is doing this type of due diligence. See if he's doing anything. Most of the time they don't do a damn thing. But this is my day. This is where I feel comfortable justifying what I do, justifying why I'm doing it, and paying attention to your accounts in this way. Obviously, also as accounts are taken off, Bank of America had their earnings. It's out of there. Foreign FCX, Slumberger had their earnings. It's out of there. And Zions Bank had their earnings today, but I'm going to keep it there. This is what I do. This is what I'm doing on a daily basis. This is how I'm able to talk with you, how if you call, I can get back to you relatively quick, how I can answer your questions, because my day is spent doing this kind of work, watching the markets, treating it like a 5:45 in the morning till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. In all honesty, for me, there's my 9-hour-a-day job. That doesn't mean that I don't get to take some weeks off. Like next week, I'm probably going to be at Hell's Roaring Canyon, going to take a youth group up there, have Keeve watch things. But this is my day. I pay attention and know ahead of time so I can send out emails and keep you posted. Probably going to have a 1/4 point rate hike on the 31st, FOMC rate meeting. I know that because I put that in 6 weeks ago, and I see it every week as I go through on Sunday to check to see what's coming up. It should be a 1/4 point rate cut. That's built in. If it's 50 basis points, we could go higher. If there's no rate cut, but they're talking about a rate cut, they penciled themselves in the corner. It can be an ugly day. Because I know that, even if you have good earnings on your stocks, I will most likely keep the protection on until after the 31st. At that point, I'm going to adjust. At that point, I might add a second long put if we start to tank. But I look ahead so that I have and understand what's happening in our market and why. This is my job. This is my day. This is why I think Hurley Investments is about the best place out there. And yes, if you wanted me to, I could stick you in a fund. I would probably do an SPX. I could only charge you 1% for doing it. I would not be adding protection on it, but I would have a hell of an understanding of what's happening in your market. So if you actually wanted to talk to your broker, to have them know what you're in, and to be able to understand the individual positions, that's what I do. That's a level of service that Keeve and I bring to the table. You know, Jeff, I would say yes as well. Jeffrey T. Smith out of Colorado, but he's a little bit less hands-on. This is what we do. This is why we do it. This is what we're looking for, and what we would expect a broker to do if they're going to charge any fees. Any questions you have about tonight? Because I've got a 7:30 I got to get to that's about a half hour away, so that gives me about 12 minutes. Any questions on anything that I can answer for you tonight? Lance, you're killing me. So you probably had that one saved, huh? Lance made the question, can anyone do this? And I'm going to answer that very broadly or generally. Lance, yes, anyone can be a financial advisor as long as they don't have a felony within the last 10 years or a bankruptcy. They have to go past their 65 or 66 law license to be able to trade to create an RIA, and have to be licensed, bonded, insured, pay a bunch of fees. So yes, anyone could do it. It'll be between a $10,000 to a $25,000 startup cost, and they can be managing money. The question is, do you have the mental fortitude to not hide behind your answering machine? Are you going to expect your people not to pay attention to you and only get a quarterly statement? Or are you going to offer them more than that? Since 2000, I'll be honest with you, pre-2008, I was more quarterly. I wasn't doing all this. Through 2008 and past that, I'm trying to get in front of you guys 2 or 3 times a week. I try to make sure I'm always answering a phone call. 2008 ruined, for all intents and purposes, it literally ruined generations, 3 generations of investors. And I'm doing everything I can to fix that problem and to be more than just throw it in a fund and tell you, don't worry, it'll be all right. Just give it some time, because even that doesn't work. So the short answer is yes, anyone can do it, but doing it well is a whole nother story. Any other questions? If not, I've got to run. I've got my 7:30 tonight. Jeff, I know you are here. Would you send me an email so I can answer any of the questions that I didn't quite get to before the Hurley Investments Market Review commentary here? And guys, have a good evening. For those that are signed up for it, I will see you tomorrow at the Trade Findings and Adjustments tomorrow evening. You guys take care. Have a good evening. Bye-bye. Whoa, this is Kevin.